Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Jones Podcast. I'm your host, Eric. The Jones Podcast is a podcast that acknowledges great individuals or couples who are entrepreneurs on the city council or who are just doing great things from our city of Tuscaloosa. Roll Tide. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the Jones Podcast. What's going on with Jones Podcast family? On the podcast today, I have the head coach of Shelton State Buccaneers men's basketball team, Mr. Joseph Eatmon. Joe, what's going on, man?
Not much, Eric. What's going on, man?
Oh, man, I ain't doing nothing. Trying to get this podcast thing jumping off. How you been doing?
Man, I'm doing well. Just doing this coaching, man, here in Tuscaloosa. So just living life and just coaching, man. That's it.
You know, we've been knowing each other for, let's see, I'm 45. So I know at least, 30 years?
At least 30 years, man. At least. We go way back, man.
Way back. And, man, I remember when we used to play ball in your grandmother's backyard in that dirt.
Yeah, man, in the dirt. Then we got a little bit older. She got me a little concrete. So, but yeah, it goes way back, man.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. Man, first of all, I want to just say how proud I am of you being the coach of Shelton State. I just want to let you know how proud I am of you because, like I said, I've been knowing you since you were younger, and to see you progress in your career, that's great to see, man.
And I appreciate that. Yeah, I really do, man. I see you doing big things too with your podcast. You know, being at Shelton, it is a big honor, man, to be able to coach the game I love here in the city I love, man. So it's a big, I'm very humble, and it's a great opportunity for me, man.
So for all the people who really don't know you, just give them a little background of yourself.
Hey, you know, I grew up here in Tuscaloosa, man. Went through the city school system. Grew up there over on T.Y. Rogers, right around the corner from you, man. So, you know, you got a chance to see me coming up. Spent a lot of time, you know, at the Barnes YMCA here in town.
So what made you want to become a head coach?
To run up early, man, I knew that was kind of what I wanted to do. You know, I wanted to be a father figure for guys, and I wanted to, you know, teach them the right way, not just about basketball, about life, and that's kind of what I aim to do every day here at Shelton.
Well, you're having that father figure. That's a big thing nowadays, man. That's a big.
It is. You'll be amazed, man, at how many guys that come through my program that don't have that. You know, I got guys that I coached 5 or 6 years ago that I still have relationships with, that still call me and ask me for advice, man. That's kind of why I do what I do.
In addition to winning a championship, what are your other goals you have for the team?
You know, my motto here at Shelton is that, you know, life's bigger than basketball. So, of course, you know, we like to win championships on the court, but we like to win them off the court, too. You know, if you follow me on social media, you'll see a lot of the things we're doing in the schools, a lot of things we're doing in the community. And those are things that I want to teach my guys, you know, that you know, to be able to use your platform to make a difference. You know, so we work every day to do that in the community, as well as, you know, we do a lot of different seminars with them. I got a program I call my 12 seminar well-rounded program seminars that I do with the guys. You know, we cover different topics that, you know, like financial literacy and things like that. So
how long you been doing that?
Well, I started 3 years ago when I become head coach. You know, what I do basically every month, I have a speaker. We basically pick a topic. We've done a lot. We've done financial literacy. You know, at one point, conflict resolution with law enforcement was a big thing that we kind of did. You know, we do our drug education seminars, our sex education seminars. So, you know, we do a lot with the guys just to try to kind of educate them on things, you know, off the court as well as on the court.
So I know that coaching at Shelton it's big for you. It's a big thing. But if what school called you, you would consider that your dream job?
Well, you know, right now, and you hit the nail on the head when you said that, you know, coaching at Shelton's a big opportunity. A lot of people don't realize it, but, you know, Shelton had never had a black head coach of any sport until they hired me 3 years ago.
I know that.
Yes, I do know that. that's a lot of people don't realize that, and that was in 2016, 17. So that's for me to be able to be in the position I am. Especially when I got the job when I was 32 years old. That was my dream. To be here at Shelton. But moving forward, there's a lot of basketball coaches here at the high major level that make a lot of money. So any of those jobs, to be honest, if they call, Avery Johnson probably makes $2.8 million at Alabama. So any of those jobs like that call, that's my dream, to be able to do what I love, to be able to get paid for it, and be able to leave a legacy and a lasting impact, not only for my kids, but just be in a situation where I can make a difference in the community. And of course, if a job like Alabama comes, that would be my dream, because it's here in my city. I'll be making the type money I need to make the impact that I want to make on my community. But if anybody calls and I can make an impact on that community, I'll be glad to take that opportunity.
So what's the most difficult aspect about coaching young men at this level?
Coaching junior college basketball, and it's kind of funny because I get that question a lot. I actually got that question in my interview when I interviewed for Shelton. And, and like I tell people, the hardest thing about coaching junior college kids and kids, period, really, because I know a lot of Division I coaches struggle with the same thing, is getting those guys to see past what's right in front of them. A lot of them, they can't see the future. They can't predict, look, I'm here at Shelton for 2 years, so I got to go to class, and I got to get my grades, and I got to work hard because I got to go somewhere else after this. I think that's just, young people today, I think that's the biggest problem with getting them to see past, get out the feelings and get past, what's right in front of them. Like I tell my guys, you may not feel like going to class today, but you got to go. You got to look at the big picture. I don't feel like getting up going to work every morning, but I know at the end of the day, I got 3 little kids that's got to eat, so I got to get up and go to work. And that's the biggest thing with these guys, is just getting them to see past right now, how they're feeling right now, and get up and do what they got to do, and see the bigger picture.
Yeah, because this social media world has them on everything right now.
Yep. They got access to so much that we didn't have back then. So they've gotten tons of distractions that they can just rely on, and that they don't have to do what they got to do to get where they really want to be. And that's the biggest problem. They just got to get past, they got instant access to everything, and they want instant access to success and instant access to life. And, at the end of the day, success is built, is not built overnight.
Now, we've been watching basketball. You've been watching basketball all your life. I've been watching it all my life. You played it. I haven't played it at the level that you played it, but I played it. And seeing that it progressed from it being a structured game to basically an isolation game nowadays. Is it hard to coach the team structure of it more than isolation?
It is. I think the biggest thing right now is a lot of players now, they watch out of these European teams, on the USA level. Now it's kind of going back to more of a European style, where it's getting more fundamental, and the fundamental aspect of the game is starting to come back. So it's a little bit easier to get them to see it more now than it was 5 or 6 years ago when I first started coaching. But it's still, guys these days are so big, strong, and fast. It's always going to be an athleticism. Athleticism is always going to dominate the game of basketball. As far as the isolation, you got a lot of guys, like I said, they watch the NBA basketball, and it's not a ball movement league, except for a couple of teams. I mean, if you look at the teams, Golden State and San Antonio, those are kind of ball movement teams, and the rest of the teams in the league are kind of isolation type teams. Mm-hmm. But if you look at the teams that are really, really winning, a majority of the championships, they're ball movement teams. So,
which is true, which is very true. That's why I wanted to ask you that, because, like you said, the kids are big and stronger than when we were coming up.
Oh, yeah.
And it's crazy how it's changed as far as the way it's played and the speed that it's played in. It's just like football. Football's the same way.
Oh yeah. Yep. Everything's about tempo now.
So when you became the first black coach at Shelton, when you finally got the job, was it a load off your back, or did you have a game plan of what you wanted to do, or what?
Well, you know, I'm the type that, you know, I always prepare myself for opportunities. You know, if you, and that's the worst thing. The worst thing you could do in life is to have an opportunity and not be prepared for it. You know, I had been a head coach before as well, so you know, my thing was that, you know, when I was in that assistant role, I just kept preparing and kept preparing and kept preparing. You know, but of course, when I first took over, you know, my first year, I wasn't even really the head coach. I was the interim. You know, they made me interim head coach for an entire year, and I won a championship as an interim head coach. So, you know, I'm going to be honest, that entire year, it was a lot of pressure on me because I felt like, look, if I don't win a championship, I'm not going to keep this job. You know what I'm saying? Because the program had so much success, and I just felt like, you know, just being, you know, and I'm not trying to make a racial issue out of it, but just being African-American and them never having an African-American coach, you know, of course I felt like, look, if I don't win a championship, you know, they don't have to give me this job. So that entire year, I spent that entire year saying, look, I'm not going to give them a choice. I'm going to bust my butt. We're going to win. That's what I just kept telling my guys. We're going to win. We're going to win. We're going to win. And at the end of the day, they're not going to have a choice but to give me the job. So, you know, that was my mentality that whole year. Like, I ain't going to leave no doubt that I should have this job. You know, being 32 years old and being from the city here, you know, that the city showed a lot of support, and I appreciate the city. We sold more tickets that year in my interim year than they ever had. We made more money at the gate my interim year than we had made the previous 4 years combined, as far as attendance and as far as, you know, dollar amount at the door. So the city showed a lot of love, and I really appreciate that. And we were able to win a championship. So at the end of the day, the pressure was off my back, and the pressure was on them to do the right thing. So,
how would you describe your coaching style?
You know, I'm a player's coach. My guys, you know, that's one thing that my guys always say about me, that, you know, if they could stay here at Shelton 4 years and play for me, they would. You know, I'm a relatable guy, you know, being from where I'm from and coming up where we came up. You know, of course, there's a lot of things that these guys go through off the court and a lot of things they go through at home that I can kind of relate to. And I think it helps me as a head coach, because, you know, just something about having somebody that you can talk to that can not only give you advice, but can also, they understand where you are and what you're coming from. And I think that really helps me. You know, as far as, you know, on the court, you know, I'm the type that, you know, if a guy can do something like you saw my 6'11" kid, you know, how many coaches you see let a 6'11" guy step out and shoot 8 or 9 threes in a game? If that's a skill set that you have as a player, you know, I like to put you I like to put you in, give you an opportunity to do what you do best and display your skill set. So that's kind of my coaching style. I just say kind of just like a player's coach.
So what advice would you have for anyone who wanted to become a head coach?
You know, one thing about coaching, you know, it's all about just getting in, you know, at any level. You know, I would tell them, you know, start hanging around coaches. You know, that's one thing I always did. You know, even when I was playing, I would hang around my coaches in the office and when they're watching film and things like that, and just get to know the game. And that's the thing, you know, a lot of times it's like anything else in life. Sometimes it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. You know, so that's the thing that if you want to get into coaching, that's what you got to do. You got to surround yourself by other coaches, get to know other coaches, and learn the ins and outs of coaching. You know, and there's a lot of different levels that you can coach. You know, if you want to be a high school coach, you need to make sure that when you're in college, you're majoring in something where you're going to be able to get a job in a high school. Or, you know, if you want to get into college coaching, you know, one thing I did once I graduated, I didn't go get a regular job. I took an $800 a month job as a grad assistant at West Alabama just to get my foot in the door of coaching. and that kind of opened a lot of doors for me. So I would say, if you want to get into coaching, you may have to sacrifice for a year or two just to get your foot in the door. But, at the end of the day, coaching is one of those things where your career can take off if you just by being at the right place at the right time.
Joe, before we get out of here, man, first thing first, like I said earlier, I'm proud of you, brother. I'm proud of you, man, knowing where you came from and how far you've progressed. It just makes me feel good to see that you moved up like this, man. I'm very, very proud of you.
Well, I appreciate that, E. I really do, man. Like I said, especially coming from you, somebody that grew up with me and saw me at the bottom, man. Now I have an opportunity to see me where I am now, and just, God's blessed me, man. And like I said, I appreciate you, and that means a lot coming from you.
Before we go, you want to give a shout to anybody or promote your games coming up?
Man, I just, as far as a shout out, I just want to give a shout out to the entire city, man. Tuscaloosa, city I grew up with, city I love. I love everybody here in the city. I appreciate all the support. We got 3 home games coming up this week. We play at home tomorrow at 7:30. We also play at home Thursday at 7, and we play at home Saturday at 4 p.m. So if anybody in the city wants to come, just give me a shout. I can get you on the pass list, or, just come out and support. And I appreciate all the support that the city's giving and all the love they showed me, and hopefully that'll continue.
Well, Joe, appreciate you coming on the podcast, man. Like I said, continue doing what you're doing. And, I'm behind you 120%, brother.
Well, I appreciate it, E. I appreciate it. I really do, man.
All right, then, man. Have a good night.
All right, you too.
Thank you for listening to the Jones Podcast. You can find us on iTunes or Google Play or wherever you listen to your podcasts. You can also follow us on Instagram and Twitter at the Jones Podcast.